Have you ever considered doing stand-up comedy? Maybe you've seen Kevin Hart or Bill Burr and you were like, I could do that. Well, it's just turned to 2022 and hopefully things are going to get back to normal again this year. I definitely said that last year. But if you are considering getting on stage and grabbing the mic this year, I'm going to give you 5 tips for brand new stand-up comedians today. If you're like, well, who the hell are you? If you head over to my page, I've just added one of them really tragic welcome to my channel videos. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm a new stand-up comedian. I've only been going for 6 months. I've done about 40 gigs, only started when the lockdown ended here in England. If you wanted advice from a professional, you can check out pretty much any podcast.
And she was like, send me a dick pic. And I was like, all right, sent her the dick pic.
Without any further ado, here's 5 tips for brand new stand-up comedians in 2022.
Number 5!
Don't worry about being funny. But it's stand-up comedy. Public speaking is the #1 fear worldwide. And to be honest, when you do go to your first comedy open mic, no one's really expecting you to be funny, especially if you ask the MC to mention to the crowd that you're new to comedy. Getting on stage even one time is a massive achievement in itself because it's something that not a lot of people could actually do. And if your jokes don't land, nobody really gives a shit. Comedy is so intimate and the crowd feel your energy. So when you're nervous and anxious on stage, that then translates to the crowd and it makes them feel awkward and on edge. When you're on stage, just don't worry about your material and try and focus on acting like you're comfortable and that you're enjoying yourself, because at that point, any open mic crowd is going to be on your side. For my first 10 or so gigs, I was super focused on my material and honestly it really wasn't going well and I was getting more and more nervous on stage, and I actually then decided to take a step back and I did exactly that. I didn't focus on my material. I just tried to make sure that people thought I was comfortable and relaxed on stage and crowds enjoying my sets more, and I actually ended up getting more laughs from some pretty weak material just because the crowd were relaxed and having a good time. Don't get me wrong, I get stage fright real bad still, but pretty good at hiding it. And to be honest, it's so rare that any comedian is going to turn up first time with some killer material, so don't worry about it. Getting up on stage is the achievement and it's something that you should be proud of. Do 10 gigs. Commit to doing 10 gigs. Why 10? Honestly, because 10 gigs you will actually get a sense of what it's like to do stand-up comedy. And if you are one and done and you get up there and just decide never again, fair enough. Until you've done about 10 gigs, you're not really going to get a good sense of whether you enjoy doing stand-up comedy or not. You can say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do 10 gigs in 2022. And you can find yourself a local open mic and go along once a month, go on your own, or maybe just take one person with you and do that every month. Before the end of the year, you'll have done 10 gigs. And if after 10 gigs you decide you hate stand-up, you don't ever want to do it again because you've no longer got the ability to laugh, by the end of those 10 gigs you'll be miles better at public speaking, and that's a skill that you'll be able to take forward with you for the rest of your life. Write for 20 minutes. Now, this is something that I need to take my own advice on. In the past 6 months, my commitment to writing has been nothing short of poor. I tend to get distracted pretty easily.
It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground.
You underestimate my power. Don't try it.
Anyway, I hate you. Moving on. Just set aside 20 minutes a week where you put your phone on aeroplane mode and you just write. And what you'll do is you sit down for 20 minutes is you'll get into a rhythm and you may end up writing for longer, or you may end up realizing you're enjoying it and adding more 20-minute blocks into your week. And as you do your first 10 gigs, you'll realize just how much comedy is a craft, because you'll be going back to your jokes and rewriting them, restructuring them, cutting bits, adding bits, you name it. Another reason why you shouldn't really worry about being too funny when you first start out. Writing is a massive subject though, so if you do have any questions, please bang them down in the comments below, or any questions about comedy in general. I'll make sure to get back to you and give you all some proper honest answers. Don't try anything too risky. Something I wish I knew before I started stand-up comedy was just how much the phrase, you either got it or you ain't, is a crock of shite. Comedy's an art form at the end of the day, and it takes time to work on the range of skills that you need to be a professional stand-up comedian. When I started, I definitely tried some material that I thought was hilarious but was really not well received by the crowd. It takes a lot of skill to work that fine line, and don't get me wrong, I still think those bits are hilarious and I've just shelved them for now because I realise I need to be a better comedian. Probably a lot better. But you can still be dark and edgy without risking offending anyone. So don't. If you have found this video useful or interesting, please do give it a thumbs up because it massively helps new channels like myself. And if you do decide to give stand-up comedy a go, give us a subscribe because I'm going to be bringing loads of content out, which is going to be everything from vlogs around the circuit to tips and tricks, all aimed at helping out new comedians. Finally, my #1 tip, listen to everyone. And then don't listen to them. So you're saying I've just sat through this whole video and now I shouldn't even listen to you? Well, yeah. No two comedians are the same. Everyone's journey, everyone's experience is going to be completely different. Stand-up comedy and comedians in general are a super supportive community, and I can't thank enough the amount of advice and tips and tricks that I've heard over the last months from a lot more experienced people than myself. 10 comics are going to give you 10 different pieces of advice. Everything you hear from an experienced comedian is going to be based off of their experiences. Listening to any one of them is never going to be the right way for you. And I'm in no way saying you should just mug off everything that they tell you. You need to figure out what you want, what you enjoy, what you're doing. At the end of the day, it's your act. You're not going to have the same journey as they do. So I'm not saying just turn around and don't take advice from other comedians. I'm saying listen to the advice that they're giving you, and then you have to make a decision based on what's right for you. You shouldn't ever do something based off of what you've been told to do by a more experienced comic, or cut a joke that you've been told by someone isn't good. You're the comedian, and it needs to be your sense of humour. You need to develop an act and material that actually you like and you find funny. So just go out there and enjoy yourself. Don't let anyone tell you that what you're doing is not correct or somehow is wrong. You gotta do it your way. So those would be my tips for anyone who is interested in giving stand-up comedy a go. It'd be so mental to like one day bump into someone who is like, oh, I saw your tips and tricks video and now I'm a comic. It's so sick. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. New video next week. Cheers.